Our brave men in black and gold are 9-6 overall. They are going to win the AFC North by default, it seems, at this very moment, because the Ravens are tumbling, stumbling, terrible, get Harbaugh out of town. And the AFC is certainly a collection of football teams, I'll tell you what. I mean, is it completely out of the question that the Steelers are contenders in the AFC? I don't think it's that crazy to say. Is it that crazy to say? This is this is like the two voices in my head are going at it right now. Jack, are the Steelers contenders in the AFC?
I don't want to be like wishy-washy in between yes or no here. So if you want a yes or no answer, I will tell you yes. Simply
Wow.
because the AFC is so bad. Like the top teams in the AFC at this like exact moment are the Broncos, who have Bo Nix at quarterback. Bo Nix isn't bad, but like, is Bo Nix gonna lead a team to the Super Bowl? You tell me. Two, the Patriots. Drake May's awesome. That team's not very good. I mean, like they're good, but they're not as good as their record indicates. They were 3-point underdogs against the Ravens and only beat them because Lamar Jackson got hurt. I mean, would you be like, oh, there's no chance we beat the Patriots if we go into New England and have to play them in a playoff game? I wouldn't. I feel like I don't want to talk up the Steelers too much because I don't think they're one of like the better teams in the league. I don't. But I'm just saying the AFC is just so incredibly wide open that there is a scenario where they could manage their way to the Super Bowl.
So let's just say this. This is the scenario that makes me think, I don't know, like they do have a chance. Now, guys, this is so weird for me. And Jack said he didn't want to be wishy-washy. I'm kind of wishy-washy because 3 weeks ago we sat on this podcast and said, fire Mike Tomlin. The season is over. You should tank. And at that point, we were objectively correct. And I stand on that. And I still have the same opinion on Mike Tomlin because is it not the most Mike Tomlin thing ever that we go out there when we win 3 straight against teams that, guys, let's be honest, Dolphins suck. The Ravens, they're not very good. That's what they are at this point. I think we all viewed the Ravens like this big scary monster, myself included. We have to call them what they are at this point. They're not a very good football team. They're not a well-coached team. Their quarterback is playing incredibly injured. I don't know what the Baltimore Ravens are other than bad at this point in time. And then the Lions, they're incredibly injury riddled. Not to take away from the Steelers, but I think those are all valid arguments. You can't apologize for winning in this league. But the Steelers are 9-6. They have 3 straight wins. We got to assess the next 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks, man, I don't know. I see what you're saying, Jack. Let's say we play the Chargers. I think that's our most likely opponent for the first round wildcard weekend in Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers are a better team than the Chargers. I said that on the Standard on Sunday. I think that the Steelers would be favored in this game, and I think that's a game they absolutely should win because as good as Justin Herbert's been playing, they're without their top 2 tackles. And I don't know. They got a collection of receivers, I mean, of all time. Their defense is very good, to be perfectly honest with you, but I don't know. It just feels like the Steelers are a better team overall than them.
Justin Herbert also does not necessarily have the greatest track record
That
in the
is true.
playoffs.
That's another fair
He
point.
legitimately threw more interceptions in the playoff game he played in last year than he did the entire regular season, and he played
Yeah.
every single game of the regular season.
So let's say they beat the Chargers in this scenario. They go to New England, divisional round. Jack, I'm licking my chops. I know you said that you'd be licking your chops. I don't know. We already beat New England on the road once. I know this New England team has a lot more swagger. They have a lot more wins stacked up since we last played them. I don't know. The Steelers did it once. Why can't they do it again? Why can't they?
This New England team, I trust Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin more than I trust. I love Drake May. I think he's an absolute. This would be his first playoff game. I don't think that offense outside of Drake May is necessarily very good. Their defense is okay. Like, I don't know. I really just don't see it with the Patriots. I
I
get
don't
that their
know. I
record is
agree
what
with
it
you.
is. I say this every time I'm talking about that. If you go past their last 8 wins, it looks like you're on tankathon.com. It's ridiculous. They have not beaten anybody good except for the Bills that one week, and they lost to the Bills again. Or they lost to the Bills in the second time they played them. But they have home losses to the Raiders, and the Steelers. Steelers are not even nearly as bad as the Raiders, but it's not a good loss if you lose to the Steelers. No, it isn't.
So in this scenario, the Steelers would travel to Denver to take on the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think the Steelers are like world beaters by any means, but nobody else in the AFC is.
I will
Nobody.
say there's also absolutely a scenario where the Steelers beat the Chargers in the wild card round, and 6 beats the 3 and 7 beats the 2, which would give the Steelers another home playoff game in the divisional
It's
round.
nuts.
It's possible. It's unlikely, but these teams, who would 6 and 7 be? It would be like the Texans and
Buffalo.
Yeah, like right. Like you're telling me you can't see those two
I don't
teams
know.
going in and beating teams in the first round on the road? Because I can.
I really could. Let's say, who would they play? So the Patriots would play the Texans right now. I don't know about you, man.
I would take the Texans in that game.
I like the Texans in that game. I really, really do. And then who would the Bills play in this one? They'd play the 3 Jags. That's a hell of a game.
I would take the Jags, but like you're telling me you can't see Josh Allen
being a superhero.
Just straight out outplaying Trevor Lawrence and winning that game, because I can't.
The point of this is the AFC is a complete and total shit show. Nobody's separating themselves. The top 2 teams are probably not as good as their record indicates. So it comes down to an interesting exercise. What quarterback do you trust more than Aaron Rodgers in the AFC? Going down the list, Drake May's playing at an MVP level. Some are saying. Some are saying. Maybe not me, but some are saying.
He's very, very good. I don't think
he's very, very good. I'm not taking away from him. But
yeah,
I think a couple people have a lot better case than him. I don't trust him more in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers at this point. I sure as hell don't trust Bo Nix more than I trust Aaron Rodgers at this point. Do you trust Trevor Lawrence more in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers?
The way he's playing right now, Trevor Lawrence has played in the playoffs before, and he was not bad when he played in the playoffs. Right now, I would still trust Rodgers more, but I wouldn't necessarily not trust Trevor Lawrence.
I think that's a great take. I agree with you. I would take Rodgers. What about Justin Herbert? We talked about he has a terrible
until he shows me that he can play in the playoffs. No, I can't trust him.
Yeah, but he's also playing out of this world right now.
He is.
Josh Allen, I think
Allen I trust more than Rodgers. That's the only guy, yeah.
And then I don't think we trust Stroud more than we trust Rodgers.
However, there's a very good chance that Josh Allen just drops a complete stinker because he does that sometimes.
Because Josh Allen has to play hero ball more than anybody. Yes. So the AFC playoffs could be Josh Allen playing hero ball for 3 straight games and carrying Buffalo on his back to the Super Bowl, which is entirely possible. And if it's not now for the Buffalo Bills, it's probably never going to happen. Let me tell you what, because it's never been so wide open. And I think the Bills are the only team that really, truly scare me if I'm the Steelers, because they have number 17. And not to take away from James Cook, who had the best performance on the ground that we've seen at Acrisure Stadium in the last 50 years on the Steelers defense. I mean, he had single-handedly had the fans chanting to fire Tomlin. So the AFC, man, wide open. I don't know. Is Aaron Rodgers, he's the second best quarterback in the AFC playoff picture right now. Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
And we know Mike Tomlin's been terrible in the playoffs the last 9 years. Gives up an average of 33 points a game over the last decade in playoff games. That's not good. Not good fair, whatsoever.
Outside of the Jags game, that one, no excuses for that.
Yeah.
Partially that reason why he's been so bad in the playoffs is because he's dragging teams that just aren't playoff caliber teams into the playoffs and then into some powerhouse's home stadium just to get blown out. It's not necessarily going to blame him for losing those games.
Yeah. So this is also very interesting because I told Jack I was going to do this before we started recording. Let's take a look at the Steelers' wins this year because, man, I know they're 9-6, and this is kind of circling back to my point on, well, we kind of beat 3 teams that at the end of the day, if you really, really want to look at them, you don't apologize for winning, but they're down, they're injured for one reason or another, and it sounds like I'm being hard on the Steelers. I just have to examine the games they've played. They beat the Jets, who suck. They beat the Patriots on the road. That's their best win of the season by far, at least on paper, beating New England at home. That's a great win. They beat the Vikings in Ireland, who aren't very good. They beat the Browns, who are absolutely dreadful. They beat the Colts, who admittedly they had Daniel Jones and they were good at the time, but they weren't as good as their record indicated. That's obvious. They beat the Bengals, who suck. They beat the Ravens, who, they are what they are. Dolphins suck. Lions are what they are at this point. They're incredibly injured. What one of those jumps out to you? The
I would
Patriots
say
game? The
I think
Lions win jumps out.
The Lions, the Pats, and the Colts, because the Colts at that time were playing like the most efficient offense in NFL history, and the Steelers
And
shut them down.
yeah, the Steelers, to their credit, they've shut down Jonathan Taylor this year. They've shut down Devon Achane for the most part, even though he had 120 yards from scrimmage. He wasn't like a game breaker or anything, I'd say. But they have this game against James Cook where they just look absolutely dreadful. I don't know what the hell I'm getting from the Steelers on a weekly basis. I guess that's my pause too, because as good as they've looked over the last 3 weeks, let's say they go out there and lose to Cleveland, all hell breaks loose. We have no confidence. This team probably still wins the division regardless
There's
by
going to be
default.
an angry mob of people after DK Metcalf. If they lose to
Oh,
Cleveland.
absolutely. Absolutely. Roman Wilson's going to get a helmet by default. Shout out number 4 for getting Roman Wilson a helmet.
I will also say,
Yes.
if if you're not watching, I'm putting my finger in the air here.
We both have fingers in the air.
If the Ravens were to lose to the Packers, which would clinch the Steelers the division, what I was saying, I would rest the starters against Cleveland and then have them maybe play the first half in Week 18.
I don't know. I don't know. That's such a weird.
Especially because the team's bye week was Week 4.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. It was much needed rest.
I don't know if it's already clinched and you're playing the Ravens. I wouldn't even chance it, man. I would rest Rodgers. DK's still going to be suspended. Who else are you resting at that point? Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren, probably. All your defensive guys.
Johnson reps. Oh boy.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson reps. I mean, get that guy the fucking rock. Caleb Johnson's going to be a daily
fantasy demon Week 18.
Will Howard throwing to Roman Wilson will be Tom Brady to Randy Moss. But that'll be really interesting to see as well how Tomlin handles when to kind of rest his starters. It's crazy we're at this point talking about resting the fucking starters compared to where we were just a couple of weeks ago. But
when was the last time the Steelers rested their starters? Was it the
It's got to be.
It was Browns in 2020.
Yeah, that's true. This would be the Steelers' first AFC North title since 2020. Yeah, they did lose to the Browns. That would not be good. Not ideal.
The Browns back-to-back weeks in the season.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I've erased that from my memory, personally.
Yeah, that did not happen.
But if I'm Tomlin, and I'm not Mike Tomlin, he thinks completely different than me, clearly, I would probably play everybody against Cleveland regardless. You go into this week with a full week of preparation. You don't rip it up and throw it out the window if the Ravens lose. I would give the offense and the defense at least the first half against Cleveland at the bare minimum, because I think there is something to be said about resting them for too long. There could be rust. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is an older guy, especially for a team like the Steelers who have actually a lot of older players. Cam Hayward, older, a lot of rust on him. TJ Watt, I don't even know if I can expect him to come back at this point. I don't really know what I'm getting with Watt. Point is, guys like Ramsey and them, I would play them for a little bit, but maybe the second half against Cleveland, if you want to throw out Mason Rudolph or even big old number 18 Will Howard, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I do worry. I would absolutely be afraid going out and being completely flat in their first playoff game.
How much run would you give DK?
If he gets his suspension down to 1 game in this scenario, I guess. How much run would I give him? Who cares?
You think you should just let it be a 2-game suspension?
Just let it be. This is my point. Just let it be a 2-game suspension. I don't know if they're gonna change it or not. At the time of this recording,
I will be changing
DK
my
has just
mind
appealed
if
it.
the Ravens beat the Packers and we lose to the Browns. I will change
Yes.
my mind. I will
Yes.
be begging for it to be a 1-game suspension.
We will absolutely be begging for it to be a 1-game suspension, and there will be a lot of things said about DK Metcalf, deservedly so, given the situation he's put the Steelers in. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are the Steelers a legitimate threat in the AFC? I don't know. I think if the Steelers even get to the Super Bowl, I don't know. If they're playing the 1 seed in the NFC like the Seahawks, guys, I'm not being delusional here. You mean to tell me Sam Darnold's going to win a Super Bowl? No. Raj got us. Raj got us. Baby. That's 7 right there. We just paved the path to 7 right there. The stairway to 7, if you will. We have it. Beat the Chargers, beat the Patriots, beat Bo Nix. Then we get to play Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. There we go.
Oh my god.
It's too easy. It honestly is too easy. This is one of the more easy paths I've ever seen in the AFC.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Can the Steelers legitimately win the AFC? I don't know. It kind of seems that way. Thank you guys for listening, watching, however you tune in. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.